In the Midst of, by Hermitude. Deborah didn't have any friends, but she didn't know that. Nobody knew. They gathered in fractions of the whole, meeting in hollows and cracks in the ground, in the kind of places you fall into because you're a piece, small enough to fit into. The group was 6, but they only ever met in 5 or less, always relieved for the absence of the other. They always agreed that this was just what they needed, pantomiming real speech with words they didn't know. A friend is a living thing, and everyone was either dead or dreaming. Deborah took to the glass. She could only have 2 because the others would notice the third. But in the 2, in every swallow came a bit of quickening that loosened the veins. It was only natural to be tense. A conscious mind might relate it to the panic in seeing an oncoming car. You feel an echo of the impact before the deed. A conscious mind would be in hell, but a dreaming one might just grip the sheets, finding a bit of relief in the distance, in the hold of another. Thus now, holding the glass, Deborah took another swallow, and felt like her tendons weren't so taut. The others started laughing, so she joined in. Deb had heard the joke from start to finish, but Deborah didn't care. Only her first 3 letters did. Jen had taken to stories about her boyfriend. It was coming to an end. The pattern did not have much room for leeway here, but the adjoining parts around the table she now occupied were comforted by their lines. The choir, with their book of songs, not quite hymns, found color when they hit the notes prescribed. Someone might have noticed that the songs not only were ever read in condescending order, but that each one itself led to a little doom. Someone might have, but they never did. Deborah drank deeply. It was risky, but she needed it. She hated this part of the pattern, but she was barely awake enough to notice. Deb said her part flawlessly, the notes just right. Perfect in a way, beautiful in a way, but only halfway to the dreamer, and wholly to the dead. Jen took the offerings. Jen took to the music, getting up for a dance. She awoke sometime the next day. Technically the same one, but the next day never came until you slept. So, she woke up the next day. This was the 52nd week of her stay in this apartment. This was the 53rd god she had. Like Jen's boyfriends, she made sure to kill them before the week was out. Because she wasn't ready to die. A dream needed a distant hope to stay distant, whereas the dead only rested. The sound of the faucet overlaid the sound of the running shower. Every day she thought that the heat of the water coming out of the faucet should correlate to the showers. Yet the two were separated, the running water from the rain. She turned the faucet off and stepped into the shower. The next time she woke up, she had a man atop her. She remembered the pattern that got him there, the echoes of the other's song that told her what parts to play. Shuddering for the grief of being awake, only for the grief. Please, it was better if it was only grief. She cried in the shower and didn't know why. And it hurt to have hope so distant. Why did she keep it away? To live in a dream that only made sense one way, on the way to... Around the table there was a familiar part to play, but newer for her. She told stories about her boyfriend and heard the notes she sung before. It was nice to hear them coming from her friends. It was nice to not be the one to say them. This time they were at the bar by the beach. The margaritas here were good, and the crowd of people was busy enough to pretend.